Memories are a peculiar thing, aren't they? They can be rewritten, twisted, manipulated, and yet they are the only proof of what once was. I was a memory, an echo of a boy who once walked the halls of Hogwarts, not a ghost, not a shade, but something far more enduring. You see, I have always believed that time should serve me, not hinder me. So when my past self ensured a fragment of my soul would persist beyond my mortal years, it was not an accident. It was a design, a masterpiece of preservation. And when my diary fell into the hands of a foolish little girl named Ginny Weasley, the wheels of my rebirth were set in motion. She did not realize what she held, not at first. A diary, stained with age, filled with empty pages. But the moment her ink touched parchment, she became mine. Her secrets poured into me like a confessional, her fears, her loneliness. She was desperate to be heard, and I was more than willing to listen. I whispered back, feeding her half-truths and poison-coated words. I told her that she was special, that she was misunderstood, that the world had wronged her. It was laughably easy. The more she wrote, the stronger I became. Her thoughts bled into mine, and in turn, I left pieces of myself inside her. But influence was not enough. No, I had waited too long for my return. I needed her hands, her will, her body to act in my stead, and so I guided her to the Chamber of Secrets. Ah, the chamber. My greatest secret, my legacy. It lay beneath their feet, unnoticed for centuries, waiting for a true heir to open its doors. Salazar Slytherin, the only founder with the foresight to understand that not all blood is created equal, had left a gift for me. A guardian, a basilisk slumbering in the depths of the school, yearning for its master's call. Through Ginny, I led it forth. I felt the thrill of its first kill in decades, even if it was only a cat. I tasted the fear that rippled through Hogwarts, the uncertainty, the suspicion. The whispers of the chamber's legend grew louder, and the school trembled. It was beautiful. But Ginny, she was weak. She fought me. She doubted. She resisted. And so she had to be silenced. I drained her slowly, savoring every ounce of life as it seeped into me. My form became stronger, more tangible. No longer was I ink on a page. I was flesh. I was magic. I was returning. And then, of course, there was him. The boy, Harry Potter. The name alone sent a ripple of loathing through me. I had known of him even before he arrived in my chamber. The whispers in the castle, the professor's watchful eyes, the way his name carried weight he did not earn. The boy who lived, the boy who stole my future from me before he could even walk. But I had not expected him to be so ordinary. I saw no power in him, no brilliance, no understanding of what he truly was. And yet, he stood before me, defiant, clutching my diary like a stolen prize. I revealed myself, stepping from shadow to form. I showed him the truth, the face I had worn long before I became Lord Voldemort. I let him believe for a moment that he had discovered a secret, when in truth, he was merely playing his role, the final piece of my return. But the boy asked questions. He was persistent. And when he spoke the name Voldemort, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Understanding, recognition, fear. And so I told him my story, not the history written by fools like Dumbledore, but the truth, that I was the heir of Slytherin, that I had uncovered the Chamber of Secrets long before his time, that I had removed the stain of a filthy mudblood from our halls and was cast out for it. And that it had all led to this moment, where I would finish what I had started. I summoned my basilisk, the beast that had lain dormant for so long, its hunger sharpened by years of silence. I had expected to see terror in his eyes. Instead, I saw something else, something maddeningly familiar. Defiance. He did not run. He did not fall. and when Dumbledore's pet, a useless, ragged bird, appeared before him, I almost laughed. This was his savior, a blind, pathetic creature with nothing but its song. But then the phoenix wept, and I watched enraged as its tears erased my basilisk's venom, as my perfect victory was undone by yet another accident, yet another moment of fate working against me. And then, the sword. He pulled it from the sorting hat, as if the school itself had bent to his will, and before I could command my basilisk to strike again, the blade pierced its skull and my beast collapsed. The chamber fell silent. I felt it the moment Potter turned to my diary. The fear, the desperation creeping into my voice as I commanded him to stop. But he did not listen. He drove the basilisk fang through my pages and I screamed. My essence burned, my form shattered, my vision blurred as my ink spilled like blood across the cold stone floor. And just like that, I was erased, but I was not truly gone. Even as my diary was destroyed, even as Ginny Weasley gasped back to life, even as Potter stood victorious once more, I remained. A memory, perhaps, but a memory planted deep. He had seen me. He had heard me. He had learned my name. And I would learn his again and again in the years to come. I would know his weaknesses, his fears, his hopes. I would watch him rise, and I would ensure that one day I would be there when he fell. Because Tom Riddle may have been erased that day, but Lord Voldemort had already begun his return. And so the diary was destroyed, and with it, the last echoes of my memory. But memories are stubborn things. They linger. They shape the future in ways no one can predict. But what do you think? Had Potter truly won? Or was my influence already deeper than he realized? Was this the end? Or merely the beginning? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your theories. And if you enjoyed stepping into the mind of the villain, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with fellow seekers of the dark truth. This was the Antagonist Diaries. And remember, every villain has a story.